How do you see this one?
Well, I think there are so many of us waiting to see just what sort of form Neil Robertson's going to be in. He has been struggling now for well over a season. As you say, 88th on the one-year points. That just shows you how badly he's been struggling. That was a perfect start for Neil. Nice angle on the green to screw back down for some reds. The problem is when you're in a slump with your form, you know how good you are when you're at your best, and there's no halfway house. When you're really struggling, you're trying to find your A game, but you're not willing to sort of take those baby steps towards that A game. And you put too much pressure on yourself sometimes. You've just got to understand that it's a wonderful game, full of challenges, and you've just got to meet those challenges and just try to work things out yourself ultimately.
Yeah, the thing is, he's never been in this position since becoming a top player, winning his first title in 2006. Every year since then, until last year, he was winning tournaments. So this is the first real slump he's had. It's come quite late on, but let's see, as I say, this is sort of perfect tournament to find inspiration at. He has been home, as has been said, in Australia over Christmas, so he's had a nice break, didn't play any tournaments in December. But as Albert Manus mentioned, he's quite right. Last year in this round, Barry Hawkins came up against Mark Allen, who was the form player coming in, just won the UK Championship, and he completely froze him out, 6-0. Mark Allen was sort of getting his post redirected to the bulk cushion, because that's where he spent the whole match, basically, and that's what Hawkins can do.
Well, for me, Barry is as good an all-round player as you could ever wish to see. He's got a great tactical game. He's a wonderful long potter, good break builder. But Neil, in terms of potting and break building, is one of the greatest players this game's ever seen and will ever see. But the problem is, when you're struggling and the confidence is gone, that's the first part of your game that suffers. And for me, Neil Robertson, his tactical play and his all-round safety game is not that good, really. His safety is good, but it doesn't put you under a lot of pressure half the time. And that's, you know, Neil's problem, really. Doesn't create enough opportunities with his good tactical play.
Yeah, and if he's not scoring, then he's in trouble, isn't he? He's only had 9 centuries this season thus far. But I think it's clear he has drawn a line under the first half of the campaign. It's all about now the next few months. I think it's a good move to have Joe Perry as well in his corner. Wise snooker person, good friend, of course. As it stands right now, Robertson, with the points coming off as they're going to in the next few months, will have to qualify for the World Championship. Now, he can put points on in the meantime, but he would have to win 2 matches just to get to the Crucible. Incredible.
Well, you certainly wouldn't want to draw him, would you?
Already, only gone a few minutes, but already we're seeing Hawkins just dictating a little bit again. Got the white close to the cushion because Robertson was in, couldn't keep the break going initially.
This game, like so many other sports, is just so much about confidence and mental attitude. And of course, Neil Robertson, in fine form, is a player that everybody would fear. But he's lost so many matches to so many low-ranked players. Anybody playing Neil Robertson up until now feels they've got half a chance of beating him, and that's another problem.
Something just attacked him there as he was getting down to play that. We've had an issue. It's such a big building, Alexandra Palace. I'm sure they've had the fly spray out between matches. The head-to-head 12-4 Robertson. He's won, in fact, the last 6 meetings, and the last 2 of them were finals. The Masters here, of course, 2 years ago, Players' Championship just after that. So Hawkins' last victory over him was the 2018 China Open.
And that's the sort of safety play you can expect to see from Barry Hawkins. That will certainly have Neil thinking a little here. We'll need to be careful. This is not an easy return to bulk. One red he could play off is one just below the black, but the problem is that red could kick another red towards the right corner.
Foul and a miss. Barry Hawkins full.
Probably erred on the side of missing them there, just so he can make gradual adjustments. Nothing worse than playing it badly first time and cannoning a red full ball and leaving your opponent in.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, brilliant adjustment, wasn't it, as well? It's got to be said, talked about the matches he's lost this season, most of them were not in an environment like this. In fact, none of them were. So he is a big occasion player, Neil Robertson, for sure. Gets inspired by this sort of setting usually.
I certainly agree with that, Dave, but can't think of anywhere worse to play when you're struggling, though. Except perhaps the Crucible Theatre in Sheffield for the World Championships. Now, Barry was a little fortunate there. It was a good safety, but needed that cover with the yellow.
I think it can go one of 2 ways, can't it? You know, he won't be feeling flat, which he may have done in some of those other matches, you know, in front of the proverbial woman and his dog. This is, if the juices are going to be flowing, it's going to be in this sort of environment. So we'll see. You can put a narrative on anything, can't you? Let's just see how the match develops. He did get in, and didn't he, from that initial chance? Didn't quite keep it going, and now it's a safety battle.
Well, he may have been very unfortunate there, Neil. The 2 red together, as you can see, are a dead plant. Wagering there's a way that Barry can get through to them somehow. He can just clip it, look. Just.
Red going into bulk may not have done him too many favours. Big shot this. Oh, beautiful shot. Beautiful shot from Barry Hawkins, and now that red being there is good news. Had to get that with that red in bulk.
6.
Oh, I'll say that's what made that pot so fantastic, and what a clean pot it was. Confidence that will give Barry to knock in a ball like that at this stage. Oh, it's immeasurable, really. He's just over in position there, though. If there's a gap between the red and the pink to play one of the reds that are closer to this left corner, that could be a big help. Is there a gap? Just not quite a big enough gap.
Thirteen. Yellow ball, thank you.
It's already been quite an adventurous break. Big shot on this yellow to keep it going. Get back for reds. First played at the Masters in 2007. That was at the Wembley Arena. Was runner-up put in 2016 here to Ronnie O'Sullivan. And again, of course, 2 years ago to the man he's playing this evening.
16.
And he knows how Neil Robertson's feeling, because after last year's Masters, he actually dropped out of the top 16. He had to go to World Qualifying with Barry Hawkins. He didn't get through. Jack Jones beat him, so he had to miss the Crucible. Of course, bounced back immediately at the start of the season, winning the European Masters. Got his place back in the 16. I thought it was noticeable as well when they were introduced just how happy he looked to be walking out in front of a big crowd like this. You know, quite a lot of the snooker through the year, of course, in the multi-table events, you're playing at 10 in the morning, there's not many people there, but this is really what all the practice is for. Nights like this, tournaments like this.
There is a chance he could play for the black here, Barry, but it has to be very precise. Oh, I think he's nestled against the red. I don't think he's on the black at all.
22.
No, can't get through to it. We'll have to play a safety, perhaps off the green. If you can see the green, that is. Could be snookered here on all the colours.
Green ball, thank you. Hawkins, 22.
chance of a red to the left corner here for Neil, but positionally it's not particularly advantageous. But the other problem is he can't really leave that red there unless he plays a very good safety to hide that red.
Richard, can you get on the radio and ask him to be quiet up there?
I think our friends in the hospitality area might just be enjoying the vino a little bit too much. So Rob Spencer, the referee, has asked for someone to relay a message.
Was cuttable, that red. That was an excellent cutback from Barry, and he's been very unfortunate that the cue ball's landed so close to the baulk cushion. In practice, I'm sure Barry would take the yellow one, but this is a big shot. But saying that, it's not as difficult as the blue he knocked in earlier in the frame. Well, you saw Neil Robertson peeping round. He was desperate to watch that shot. You saw it go in. The great Alex Higgins used to do that all the time. It's a sign of anxiety, really. Why wouldn't you be anxious playing here at the Masters? Such a famous venue, such a great occasion. Means a lot.
4.
Yes, and we've already seen, and we saw it this afternoon, I think, as well. Just the way so much caution has gone from the game now. Taking these big shots on, having to get them. And he's got himself into a pretty good position now. He's already 31 in front.
9.
Sound the best of contacts to me. Pink could cause Barry just a little bit of a problem here. The red nearest the left corner is easy to pot. What sort of an angle must he leave himself on it because of the pink? Plays for the blue. He may have to flirt with the right-hand middle pocket a little.
Barry Hawkins, 15.
Surprised to see Barry miss the red, but it was a bit thinner than he wanted it to be. And I think Neil can get through to cut this red in.
One. Neil Robertson. Foul. Miss. Neil Robertson 4.
Well, he had to catch the red thinly, but goodness me, Barry's been fortunate there. Look at the cue ball's finish. Could have gone anywhere.
That was 4 ball. I can check it if you want to. Yeah.
And that's just the calibre of the safety game of Barry Hawkins. Beautifully executed shot, played it with check side, which was right-hand side on that occasion. But Neil can play the cue ball in behind the brown here if he plays it well, but he's got to be careful this red doesn't finish near the corner pocket.
Hawkins 4.
What a sickener that is for Neil Robertson. Could have been the start of something, maybe.
That's a magnificent pot from Neil. Very unfortunate. Both players, I feel, at the beginning of this match, have suffered some ill fortune.
Yeah, we saw, I mean, the in-off was unlucky, but we saw there in 2 shots the great strength of these players. We saw Hawkins with a terrific safety, and then Robertson with a great long red. Dramatic opening frame, 25 minutes already.
Once again, that's just pure bad luck from Neil's point of view. Just fractions away from being a fluke. It could be very costly now, already 36 points behind Neil. Red, colour red, will do Barry Hawkins. He's going to be quite nicely on the pink.
Yes, and for all the work that Robertson will have done ahead of the tournament and all the conversations he's had with Joe Perry, one thing you can't control is luck. What you can try and do is control your attitude to it. It's been unfortunate here. It looks like it's cost him the frame.
8.
park this in as well. It's 2 snookers needed at the moment. This red surely stops any playing on.
15.
The winner, of course, plays Ronnie O'Sullivan in the quarterfinals.
22.
On Thursday afternoon. A great occasion, whoever comes through.
$27. 29. 32.
Robertson got in with his first shot, a long red, but he just lost his way almost immediately and really seems to have been chasing the frame ever since that point.
36.
We've seen Hawkins take a couple of big shots on. He's clearly confident this evening. Yes, his safety's excellent, but he's also going to attack when the chances come along. It's that all-round game we were talking about.
41. 47.
So, first blood to Barry Hawkins here this evening. Fascinating match this,
54.
as he doubles the black. 29 minutes, the opening frame, and it's gone to the twice Masters runner-up Barry Hawkins. 1-0, remember it's first to 6 to reach the quarterfinals.
Well, we're going to have a look at a few of the key moments from that opening frame. This was a fabulous pot from Neil Robertson, but somehow, from an angle as acute as that, still found that middle pocket. Now, had he been fortunate with a ricochet from the jaw of the middle pocket, he could have been in business with a break. And that, again, was very unfortunate for Neil. He got a really good cue ball there, but unfortunately that red stayed right over the pockets. And Barry Hawkins there in picture was able to score the points he needed. In fact, a winning clearance of 54 and comfortably won frame 1 to take a 1-0 lead.
Yeah, and even at the end there, that little break he made, it was just good table time. And also, I always think, you make your opponent sit and watch you knock them all in. Neil Robertson just wants to start frame 2. No, I'm going to pot them all. You're going to have to wait. It's all part of it. Underway in our latest match here at the Masters. It's been a pretty thrilling tournament, hasn't it, so far? We saw, of course, Jack Wazowski beat the world champion Luca Brecel on day 1. Sean Murphy beat the debutant Zhang Anda yesterday, the maximum from Ding, in a losing cause in the end. Ronnie O'Sullivan, of course, beat him. Ali Carter played so well in the evening. This afternoon, a thriller between Judd Trump and Corin Wilson that Trump shaded. And now, Hawkins Robertson tomorrow. Of course, we conclude the first round. In the afternoon, it's Mark Allen against John Higgins. And in the evening, Mark Selby against Robert Milkins. Packed house again. All the tickets were sold in advance for the first time ever. Just underlining, I think, how well snooker's doing right now. Figures are up in terms of TV, they're up in terms of attendance, and we've seen why, haven't we, already in this event? The guys really do entertain us, and that's what Neil Robertson's looking to do tonight. Produce his best form, get on a run in a big tournament.
Thank you. The second frame. Neil Robertson to break.
So, in the end, he was slightly frozen out in that first frame. A little bit of bad luck as well here and there. 29 minutes, Hawkins took it. Neil Robertson actually made his debut at the old Wembley Conference Centre. He does go back maybe further than people realise. 2004, he won the qualifying event, played Jimmy White at the Conference Centre. You can imagine what that was like for still a very young man at the time, Neil. He was only 21. Jimmy beat him 6-2. It was a bit into the lion's den, to say the least. Yeah, there's that debut, 2004, but a great record, of course. Twice winner, twice runner-up as well. 39 centuries he's made, and there's that Triple Crown. Of course, he's won the 3 events that make up the Triple Crown, the World, the UK and the Masters. Yeah, 39 centuries, so he's 4th on the list for this tournament. So all the pedigree is there, we know that. It's just a question of, are we going to see that this evening?
Yes, and let's not forget the ranking titles. 23 of them in all, 34 professional titles. Barry Hawkins, back in Paris, has won 4 major ranking events, 8 professional titles. So there's a great disparity between the two in that regard.
Yeah, and I think that's why so many people are kind of surprised that he has had this slump. It does happen to players. It's a challenge in sport, of course, to get to the top. It's a challenge to stay at the top. But if you do slip back, it's then a challenge to get back again. And as I say, he's never really had this before in his career, so it is new territory for him.
Straight down to have a look at this cut back into the left corner. Will the cue ball avoid cannoning into the black, though? It probably will. No, played the safety in the end. That yellow has become a good target to try and get the cue ball in behind now. Just caught that a little thinly, Barry Hawkins, and this red to the right corner is definitely on for Neil.
Well, you can tell from where the white finished that wasn't a clean contact.
Four.
Yeah, I could perceive the cue ball just bounced from the green fractionally there, took a wider course, and again, that's just pure bad luck for Neil, really.
The problem is, if you keep getting these bits of bad luck, you start to think, well, it's not going to be my night. I mean, this is to say, you could try and banish those thoughts, but put it this way, if you believe in the snooker gods, then they're real.
Neil Robertson 4.
two reds by the pink. I just wonder if they maybe a plant for this right corner. Maybe not. They could well be set for the top cushion actually, but definite chance though for Neil here to try again and get that cube in behind the yellow and the brown. Maybe he is looking at those two reds. Oh, they are. Now, this is what's called a reverse plant. You'd have to hit the top red very thinly, but there's a little channel through all the other reds there for the cue ball to escape to bulk, and I am very surprised he's not taken that plant on, I have to say. If he doesn't get the snooker, I'm sure Barry Hawkins will have a look at it. The sort of safety Neil does play rather a lot of. It's safe, yes, but somebody with Barry's ability tactically could put you in trouble here. Just another superb red from Neil Robertson. He's some dramas already this evening. Again, just didn't touch the sides. A slightly tricky yellow that I feel he's going to have to take on.
Three. Four.
Well, he's had to work hard to get any sort of opening. He's got one now. list of century break makers. Masters, but Romeo Sullivan there, 85. The next best, 46, Stephen Hendry. So Sullivan made 2 yesterday. There's Robertson in 4th position. Made 50 last season, but so far in this, just 9.
Yes, we were talking about current form between the two players. Barry Hawkins made 23 centuries in the whole of last season. He's already made 26 this season. Virtually 3 times the number of Neil Robertson, who misses that red.
Neil Robertson, 15.
Surprising miss from Neil, but hasn't left a possible red, I don't think, for Barry.
Looking for some fluency, isn't he? I'm just looking at it's because he's been on the back foot a lot, but his average shot time at the moment, 36 seconds. Now, he's not made breaks yet. Would explain it, but it's not where he wants to be. The match so far, the style of match doesn't suit him. It was a scoring chance.
Fortunate there, Barry. Without that ricochet from the top drill of the middle pocket, his cue ball would have been coming back down the table towards the blue spot.
Robertson,
another day gets on a ball colour there, but he's played the snookers. Reds out in the open here.
The 2 reds to the right of the black spot. Possibly the easiest to try and lay up upon, but there are gaps between them. It'd be very easy for Barry to leave Neil in here. think there's a two-cushion escape available to Barry. As he considering trying to swerve around the brown, make contact with the red near this left corner that's on the cushion. Because if you can leave the cue ball somewhere in the jaws of this top left-hand corner, it may be moderately safe. Well, you may be happy with that. Is there a gap through between blue and yellow to this red near the right corner? Well, probably not, but it may be swervable. But it's a tight thing.
Little kiss on the brow, what a difference that's made. My word, these little nudges can be so important.
Easy to save the frame there for Neil. Incredible things are happening already in this match.
Yeah, I mean, the crowd, if they were here this afternoon, the nerves would already be frayed with that thrilling finish in the Trump-Wilson match, and now already this is a bit of a thriller. It's only frame 2. Got it. Okay, he's not on a colour, but he's taken away the danger by knocking the red in.
Terrific swerve shot around the brown. Nearly a 4-ball swerve. In fact, it was more than a 4-ball swerve. Just a little thinner on the red. May have given him a better chance of being on a colour, but certainly got him out of trouble for now.
Brown ball. Barry Hawkins.
Safety from Neil. A couple of tempters here for Barry, but nothing easy by any means. Played that with a lot of side spin and caught the red so thinly, clattered into another one, but goodness me, very, very fortunate indeed there.
Red's actually in great position. Whoever gets in first here after this exchange, you know, would have a chance, you would feel, but who's it going to be? Robertson's highest break so far tonight, just 15.
Of shots that Barry could play as you have a look at this fantastic auditorium, capacity house, but yet could hear a pin drop. There's another excellent red from Neil, but Barry's safety was a bit of a problem there. One good pot on the green here for Neil, and he could be in business.
He took himself away to Australia. Of course, his native land, to see his family for Christmas with his own children now. So he had a complete break from the sort of grind of the circuit. He's hoping to come back fresher with a sort of different perspective. Problem is, he's not in the World Grand Prix next week because that's on the one-year list. He didn't get in the 32, nowhere near it actually. So that's a ranking event. So he's losing pace not being in that. It makes it harder to then get in the next Players Series event, the Players Championship, which is for just the top 16 on the one-year list, and the Tour Championship for the top 12 as well. He'd have to be winning the other tournaments to do that. He will be at the German Masters because his match has been held over. But compared to some of the other top players, he won't have as much snooker in the remainder of the season.
Could be that the pink isn't possible to the right corner. It's very close as to whether you see enough of it. But if it pots to the right centre, you can still pot the red to the left centre and play for the pink there. He's having a look where the cue ball would need to be. spotting this pink. He should be able to bring the red next to it into play. Who's missed the pink? Oh, dear.
Robertson 12.
A bit of early concern for Robertson. His highest break still only 15. His average shot time's 37 seconds. And that break came to a rather swift end.
Certainly hurt Neil psychologically. If you want to go on and win this frame in the end, he's still got a useful lead in this second frame, considering the position of the reds.
Hawkins 4.
It's been a bit of a struggle for both, really. Hawkins eventually, of course, made that 54. That was mainly mopping up in the last frame after it was well and truly won. We've been going now 58 minutes. Robertson 27 in front here in frame 2. Close to it. I do feel, having watched obviously every match so far, that I don't think the pockets are overly generous. They're not supposed to be, but sometimes, you know, from tournament to tournament, they seem to play differently. Some balls have stayed out that we may have seen go in on other tables. Let's just open things up a little. Obviously, Hawkins behind's got the black into a more open position, but has left a chance at this red.
Yes, this is another big pot for Neil if he does attempt it. Cue ball may just cannon into the red that's near the pink spot. Depends if he pots the red thick or thin. Well, that's not a bad cannon at all. It's left him on the pink. Again, a great chance to finally close out this second frame and level this match up at 1-all. Not need to worry about the two reds together. If he can just pot these two reds in open play, he'd be over the winning line, barring snookers.
So many people, so many fans of the sport who want to see Neil Robertson firing on all cylinders again, because he's entertained us so much over the years, the way he plays, the confidence he has, the bravery he has as well, going for shots. Meanwhile, he's got other problems here. Yeah, there's that average shot time. As I say, if he starts making breaks, that will come down. It's just been the sort of stop-start nature of the exchanges.
He has a lead of 40 points, so it needs at least the green from this red.
40.
Yeah, one snooker needed with this blue.
90.
Looks good. Looks very good indeed. That should, you feel, secure in the frame. Got the pink in as well, I guess, because the Hawkins would play on otherwise. And it's going in. So, okay, it was a rather scratchy old frame, but right now, Neil Robertson just needs frames to try and build up some confidence.
26.
Battled away, and it looks like he's levelled the match.
27. Neil Robertson, 27.
So it was another lengthy frame, longer actually than the first, 33.5 minutes. It's gone to Neil Robertson, who has levelled up here at the Ali Pali this evening. One each. It's not been the most flowing match, Dominic, but there's been some good potting from Neil Robertson so far.
Yeah, absolutely, Dave. I've actually been really impressed with Neil's play. He's potted some terrific pots in the two frames that we've seen. And when you consider there's been a lot of safety play as well, that's commendable, because normally it can blunt your potting skills when you play too much safety. But that was an important frame, I feel, for Neil to win, because had he missed that pink, I think it was, in the right-hand centre pocket. And it could have been costly, but fortunately from Neil's point of view, it didn't cost him too much. He got the other chance he needed to go on and win the frame. And he potted some good balls here, as you can see. I think he's just hoping that this match will be a little bit more free-flowing, which will suit his style of play. But when you bear in mind there's been a lot of safety, two frames pretty much at the half-hour mark or just over, he's done well.
As we saw this afternoon, just because a match starts slowly, it doesn't mean it won't build to a very exciting finish. We saw, firstly, Kyron Wilson's great clearance to force the decider with Trump, then Trump's great clearance to win it. Right now, it's one each between Neil Robertson and Barry Hawkins. The winner plays Ronnie O'Sullivan on Thursday afternoon. In the quarterfinals of the Masters, another packed house here at Alexandra Palace. Robertson just happy to get that frame on the board. And now, sure, be trying to force his way in and play the sort of snooker that he enjoys, which is the attacking, heavy scoring.
Thank you, the third frame. Barry Hawkins to break.
So, Neil Robertson still hasn't made a 30 break, but even so, he won that last frame in bits and pieces, and he's on the scoreboard. So much anticipation for this tournament. It seems to grow every year in terms of the interest. And of course, we build up the matches because they're all great players, but if they can't just summon up, you know, their best form on every single occasion, in every frame, so often it's about digging in, getting yourself involved in a match and just trying to find something. I don't think Robertson's made that many errors, really.
Was a big mistake, though. Tempted the red, it would seem, which probably surprised me, unless he were going to play for the black. But if you play for the black, you're going to leave a chance. That's exactly what's happened. Look at this chance for Barry, straight off here in the third frame.
One.
Barry won't be entirely sure if that black is on its spot or not. blacks onto the left corner. Barry will probably try to leave himself 3/4 ball or half ball on the black just to nudge that red next to it out into the open.
No.
Just after the Scottish Open, it was the German Masters qualifiers. Barry Hawkins has made it through to Berlin. It was a great week at the Tempodrome. Beat Stuart Carrington 5-2.
60.
Just before the Christmas break.
Seventy.
Pink spots occupied, so they'll have to go behind the main bunch in a direct line with the top cushion. So basically in line with the spots. So that gives Barry now a chance to play up for the blue, to leave himself an angle to go into the reds.
Spencer,
Thank you.
any chance
20.
there? Get that sorted out quickly.
$24. $29. $30.
Seemed to me to be a rather lively bounce off that side cushion. Nearly put Barry in trouble there. He'll have to alter his thinking as regards position to his next red now.
$36. $37.
Hawkins turned pro back in 1996. Currently ranked 15 in the world, but has been as high as number 4 10 years ago. He's made 450 career centuries. Now Robertson has made double that.
$45.
Still a very impressive tally, though, isn't it? 450. It's more than most, certainly. He's in 15th position on the all-time list. think the thing with Barry Hawkins, he's just good at everything. There's no real weakness in his game. In all areas, he's strong, break building as well as all the tactical stuff.
Yes, and he's very reliable as regards match temperament. Has been vulnerable at times when having a useful lead in matches.
That's right, until he won the European Masters this season, he'd lost in quite a few finals and, you know, was developing a slight reputation as not being able to close matches out, but he was very impressive. Beat Trump in that final in Germany. And we know how well Trump's done since then. Break on here, already up to 60, 83 points still on the table. Of course, we know that the high break, at the moment anyway, has been assured by Ding, unless there's another maximum.
61.
And a little short here. Still needs red and colour after this blue.
Pots the blue and screws back towards the right side cushion, he'd have a chance at a thin cut red into the left corner.
.66.
That's an excellent pot from Barry Hawkins. 67 ahead, 67 remaining, but there should be more to come.
Yes, 2 snookers required if he pots this blue. A much cleaner frame this than the first 2. And by no means just settled for the points there, did he? Played into the reds.
.73.
He's never one to talk himself up. He's got a lot of humility. Likes to do the opposite, actually play things down. But my word, what a fantastic player. He's in 5th position on that 1-year list. So Robertson down in 88th, but the other side of the coin, just what a consistent season Hawkins has had. Looking good for the Tour Championship. Big one at the end of the season, just before the Crucible. Well, he has a chance to better his personal best in the Masters, which is 132.
85.
Either way, he's sort of laid down the gauntlet a bit here. Robertson himself is going to have to produce this sort of snooker this
86.
evening.
Somehow force the cue ball around the angles there. I've just noticed a couple of rather quick bounces from cushion rails lately, so something to keep an eye on.
94.
So we'll have to
96.
put this red in with the rest if he's going to make the have a chance to make the century. No. But an excellent break nonetheless. 96, a much swifter kill in frame 3. Barry Hawkins back in front, leading Neil Robertson this evening by 2 frames to 1.
Once again, we're just going to have a look at some of the key moments in this 3rd frame. Now, Neil took this red on. I've no idea why. Did he not think of playing a safety there, or did he attempt a safety and play it badly? Because there was no reason in the world to risk playing for the black there. It proved very, very costly, because this was an excellent break from Barry Hawkins. Everything worked out nicely for him, that pack opener. He left himself a bit to do for frame ball. Had to leave that very tricky red. But he made it, and with it, that excellent break of 96. Not quite a century, but he's re-established a lead at 2-1.
Yeah, the stats, they don't make happy reading for Robertson. The pot success down at 79%, but I think the key now is if he gets a clear-cut chance like Hawkins had there to make a break, does he make it or not? And if he doesn't, he's in trouble. We'll find out. Big frame coming up as he tries to stay in touch before the interval. So it's 2-1 to Barry Hawkins. We've got one more frame before the mid-session interval. Both players have just left the arena. Just a reminder, the winner plays Ronnie O'Sullivan in the quarterfinals on Thursday afternoon. We know that Sean Murphy will play Jack Lazowski. Judd Trump will play Ali Carter. And the respective winners tomorrow will play each other. So Mark Allen takes on John Higgins, and Mark Selby takes on Robert Wilkins. And then we will have our quarterfinal lineup set. But yeah, tomorrow afternoon, myself and Dominic are looking forward to a big match. They've met already 5 times at the Masters. It's going to be a 6th meeting for Mark Allen and John Higgins. I don't think he's going to scratch his way through tonight winning scrappy frames. That's not his game, is it? So if he gets the chance, can he take it? Because Hawkins has done. So he's nicely settled now. He's had good table time, made that 96. As Robertson returns. It's as stark as this, okay? If he doesn't pick up his form, he might not be in this tournament next year if he's not in the top 16. Things have got to turn round soon for him.
Thank you. The 4th frame. Neil Robertson to break.
Neil Robertson's highest break tonight, just 27. I would love to improve on that in this pre-interval frame and level up at 2-2.
I'm sure Barry will attempt this red. It's a similar one to the one that Neil failed with in the previous frame that cost him so dearly. This time less danger for Barry. The only red he could have left was the one he took on there. He's just about run far enough. Now we know Neil is such a great long potter. I wouldn't be at all surprised to see him attempt this into the green pocket again. It's the only ball he could leave, and he could play for the blue from it. A little surprised to not see Neil take that red on. He hasn't played the best of safeties.
Yeah, I mean, it's not great that obviously 79% that has to go up. But not every pot's the same. Obviously, some are more difficult than others. He's got close to a few long ones. He's taken plenty on. Well, that was brilliant. Now, that is Neil Robertson at his best, drilling those in. So what does it lead to is the question.
Six. Seven.
Well, considering his pot success and the way this sort of match has begun, the frame's taken so long, averaging over 25 minutes per frame. Oh, that was another fantastic long red from Neil. And he's been unlucky on many occasions not to land on colours. Trying to go into the pack of reds. The pink had to open the bumps there, but he didn't catch it fully enough. It's still okay.
12.
Cue ball stopped sharpish, didn't it? It's almost like someone pressed the pause button.
If he plays the red to the right corner, I don't think he should be playing for the black because it'd be tied up unless he can nudge the red away from the black spot. So I think he should be considering going up for maybe the blue, because if the pink spot's occupied, that would go on the black spot, and that would be no good.
Thirty.
Is it on the red?
60. Seventy.
Attempted to go into the pack of reds there. He didn't need to. I think a lot of players would have been happy to play for the red near the black spot to get an angle on the blue to go into them. But there are two reds just next to the pink. I don't think there are plants to the right corner, but not far off. Yeah, I missed them completely.
Neil Robertson, 20.
And again, he hasn't improved his high break, which still stands at 27. It was quite a big target, the pack. Confident shot to play, just didn't get into them.
Barry could attempt this red and run through for the black. Again, it would be the only red he could leave. Good effort.
One.
Didn't get the previous shot safe. He could just see enough of that red to pot it, but again, he's been rather unfortunate with the cannon to the yellow. It's far from ideal.
Three.
Robertson was saying on social media yesterday he likes that stat, that average break, but he might not like what it says on his account so far this evening. It's another break that has come to a rather premature end.
It's a strange old stat, really. I mean, Neil loves his cricket, doesn't he? It's a bit like a batting average, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, he once played a match in the Welsh Open. He may have been commentating, Dominic, I don't know, against Ian Burns, and he missed one ball and lost. He missed one ball. He's basically 99 point whatever % pot success. Got beat. So stats don't always tell. In fact, they never tell the full story. There's always nuance in there.
Quite in behind the yellow. There are possible balls here for Barry, but they're not without risk.
Six. By Hawkins 6.
Well, amazingly, Barry hadn't finished on a red there.
Foul. Miss.
Well, he got so close, but
Neil Robertson, 4.
doesn't matter. You got to hit it. Obviously, a thin glance required.
Do you know, it's an amazing match, really, that we're witnessing here, because there have been 64 safety shots and 110 pots. So half of this match, pretty much, well, certainly a good third of it, has been consumed by safety play.
Yeah. Des, can you bring it up, please?
Well, just checking the exact position of the cue ball here. You can see it needs a bit of adjustment. Closer to the cushion.
Keep going, keep going. And now just a touch this way. Maybe the tiniest little bit of touch to the cushion. Towards the cushion. Yeah.
Okay.
Guess you should have a bottle over there, the marker helping out.
Foul. Miss. Neil Robertson, 4. Yeah.
Well, of course, full ball contact, you get warned. You've got to hit it the third time.
Well, he'll have to change his shot. Some players are so belligerent they just won't, but he's having to hit the very...
Okay.
There is the warning issue to Barry Hawkins. Because he's playing such a fine edge on this red, he can't risk playing that again.
No, it's pretty stark, this. If he doesn't hit a red, then it's 2-2. Has to make sure.
He's played that really well. It's unfortunate a red is possible for Neil, but there's no guarantee that he can get on a colour here. The harder he hits it, the more likelihood the cue ball can cannon the pink. Well, isn't it amazing? You make half a mistake and it benefits you, as it has done for Barry there.
Pre-interval frame always seems bigger than maybe it should do. If they just carried on with frame 5, it wouldn't feel as big. But the fact is, this is a chance to lead 3-1, and then there'll be sort of 17 minutes with nothing happening, and Robertson having to think about things. So it does feel like a significant moment. Of course, intervals, as with theatrical productions, they're for the audience. They're for the venues to sell refreshments. But they have such a bearing sometimes on the actual snooker as well.
Seven.
Yes, because it gives players the opportunity just to reflect on what's happened and even spend some time with their coaches if they have them, to work a way back into a match.
Thirteen. Fourteen. 20. $21. 27. 28.
Played punch shot there, trying to just punch the cue ball up towards the pink and just killed the pace of it too much. Positionally, black's the better ball, but it's very missable. If he wants to get good position, though, on his next red, he may have to consider it and play the pink in and out of bulk. He's not too badly on this red, but he needs to make sure he finishes high on the pink here.
$35.
To leave himself a little lower on the red, so in potting he can just flick the other two reds into play, but as you can see, he's very straight. 16 points the lead. This is the last of the pottable reds, so he needs an angle on a colour here just to try and manoeuvre those awkward reds into play.
$42. $48.
Again, margins, isn't it? Fine margins just on it. But not in.
By Hawkins, 48.
Had to play this with fours to give himself a chance of stunning back across for the black. Still anybody's frame, really, when you consider the position of the colours. That was a weak effort from Neil to get the snooker.
Well, it's been a hard-fought match, and the pattern continues here in this fourth frame. Robertson sort of clinging on at the moment. The stats not make happy reading for him. I say that because he always looks at them at the interval. He'll find a monitor. Don't think he'll especially like what he sees, but if it's 2-2 on the top line, the frame score, then obviously there's something to build on. Having not played his best, but still level, he'd take that.
To be careful with his safety here, that if he tries to play to leave the cue ball down this top end of the table, he doesn't hit the red so thickly as to promote the other one towards a pocket somewhere. Attempt this red, but with a 23 points lead, he knows he needs that awkward one on the bulk cushion as well. And this was a beautiful putt from Barry. He's nicely on the blue. Doesn't need to worry about position from this red to a colour. This red coming up will be frame ball. It's not easy.
No, it's surely the biggest shot of the match so far, this. Effectively for a 3-1 lead. Got it.
7.
So now Robertson has had his break. He's come back looking to turn his season around. It's not quite happening yet. His highest break, 27 for the evening.
Hawkins 7.
So Robertson needs a snooker. The yellow runs in close to the pink. Ooh, the wobble. The wobble has, has left him snookered. Funny old game, isn't it?
These colours aren't badly situated for Neil. It's way too thin, but he's been very fortunate. He certainly didn't play that. Is it worth considering potting the yellow just to leave the cue ball in a better place to try and get the snooker that he needs?
Yeah, conceded.
Yeah, he's conceded, so
Conceded.
it's not been the start to the evening, the start to the second half of the season that Neil Robertson was looking for.
The fifth frame. Barry Hawkins to break.
So Barry Hawkins resuming with a 3-1 lead after the first 4 frames. They've had the mid-session interval. Neil Robertson went to the practice table. Joe Perry, who's in his corner. And the stats have all got to improve for Robertson. Pot success is 80%, highest break 27, average shot time 33 seconds. These are things that need to change in the second half. There's still plenty of time. There's a potential 7 frames left.
See that stat there, average shot time 33 seconds for Neil Robertson. It's something that happens during his play whenever he's being tied up and having to think of ways to play good safety shots when he's in trouble. He does spend a lot of time trying to work things out. That he's just played has wriggled to safety. Don't know if the red nets the black though will pot. Maybe Barry can't see enough of it. So now that red near the right corner becomes a problem for Barry. That's why he's playing a safety from that one. Not quite so easy to do though.
Straight away, he's tried to go on the attack. Robertson took the red on, didn't get it. Other times, the balls have gone awkward. It's slowed down a bit. It's not been the quickest match, has it? 1 hour and 45 minutes for 4 frames. Average frame time 26 minutes. One moment of fluency came in frame 3, but of course that was from Hawkins, the 96. That could have been a century. Mr. Tricky last red. This is every time this year we wheel out the stat about Perry Manns, who of course passed away last year, and he won the Masters without making a half century, but that was 4 decades ago. It's not going to happen this year.
Poor shot from Neil because that cue ball needed to be behind the green on the bulk cushion. This is a shot to nothing for Barry Hawkins that you're going to expect him to either pot or get very close to. If Neil can get through to the red just below the blue, and he could, this is Neil's best chance now to send a signal to his opponent that I'm okay, my form is there, and if you leave me chances, I'm going to start to take them.
8. No. $16. 17.
Neil will have to consider leaving an angle on a
20.
colour soon to go into the reds. Still one or two that he could play for, but he has to be very exacting with the position of the cue ball.
$25.
That's the worst possible outcome. From Neil's point of view, the position on the black I'm talking about, because he's absolutely dead straight on it. Try to screw back there for the red that's above the cue ball, but into the yellow pocket. So he's a good
30.
6 or 7 inches short of where he needed to be.
Yes, I mean, for him, that's a real big mistake. And that's the double-edged sword. Taking a break, in theory, yeah, you recharge your batteries, but you also lost ground on the other players, and maybe a bit of rustiness sets in if you haven't had high-profile matches.
Neil Robertson. 30.
So something of a false dawn, that visit. He's improved his high break, but only to 32.
Yes, I don't know if he's considering an attempt at a maximum there. Who knows, but Barry could have a go at this red, and he is doing. Again, you're guaranteed to be very close to this. Oh, that's superb. Could not have potted that any cleaner. But should Neil Robertson have given him the chance to go for it? Now, I'm sure Barry would be looking for an angle here on a bulk colour to go into the reds. Green or brown would be ideal. Better to go into the side of the pack because the pink is detached from the main bunch. So to go into the pack from the blue wouldn't be quite as ideal. Fortunately, from Neil Robertson's point of view, the pot has gone astray.
I guess this is what he needs to hold on to. Robertson. Hawkins has been the better player, but he hasn't been flawless himself. Good initial red didn't lead to much in the end. Remember, Barry Hawkins hasn't beaten Robertson since 2018 in China. He's lost the last 6 meetings, including the final here 2 years ago. That was an imperious run of form for Robertson, but of course, in a way, that's the problem, because on the 2-year system, not in the Masters, but in the ranking events he won, the Players' Championship, the Tour Championship, and various others, all those points are now coming off.
So Neil to play a good safety here and bring reds into play at the same time. This looks to be a very good cue ball. Kiss from cue ball to Brown has made this a little bit of an awkward safety now for Neil. Blue blocking off that little group of reds to the left. Too dangerous to play anything right of table. Heavily congested. So he's going to have to stand around the back of the black spot here. Just wonder if there's a possible red for Barry into this left corner now. He's got to be careful here if he plays a thin edge safety of one of the reds to the right of the pink. He's got to be careful not to cannon a loose red on the way back to bulk.
Since losing position on 32, it's gone back to this sort of game that maybe doesn't suit Robertson so much, than sort of cagier game. That was his big chance, really, with the black on its spot, reds available to build up a good lead. Certainly potential frame-winning break, but it just didn't happen.
There wasn't much room for error there. Barry had to avoid cannoning of the balls, reds and the blue, to get that cue ball in behind the brown and the yellow. And that's an excellent shot that he's played. Just feel, don't you, that Barry Hawkins may just have too much tablecraft for Neil Robertson.
Well, it certainly feels like he's under less pressure. I mean, there's a lot of pressure in this tournament. Everyone wants to win it. It's a huge event, big showcase for the sport. But in general, his form's been good this season. He's won a tournament. Neil Robertson is trying to find something from somewhere.
That's an excellent cutback from Barry, beautifully on the brown. And play for the red to the right of the pink now.
So the 2 hour mark is reached. As I say, it's not been a speedy affair. Now you see average frame time 26 minutes.
6.
Again, that just seemed a very heavy contact to me.
Just caught the yellow. It's a battle actually for both here to find fluency, but not lost necessarily here. It's true that every category is impressive, and rest play as well is amongst that.
Yes, for me, Barry Hawkins and Kyle Wilson, best rest players I've seen. Jamie Jones, actually, from Wales, another great rest player. If anything, he's just too high on the blue just to stand down for his next red. He may have to play a little delicate cannon perhaps here. Now this red that's near the black spot may just pot still. There's not a lot of room though. He's taking the low one of the two. More work to do with the cue ball here.
80.
That's not particularly good.
Well, again, it's not been straightforward this break, but things looking up now after that last shot. Points level. Robertson was in first, lost his way, played a poor positional shot, tried to keep the break going. It's difficult red to the yellow pocket.
25.
Very straight on this red, as you can see, to the right corner. So position to a colour from it could be very tricky. Considering now a very, very difficult red to the centre pocket. points the lead. Still lots of work to do to win this frame from here, particularly now.
Vile miscue.
Foul. Miss.
What an extraordinary thing to happen.
Barry Hawkins 30. Neil Robertson 4.
Well, Dave, this is the sort of miscue that can easily damage a tip.
Extraordinary of all the things to happen there, and he didn't even hit the red in the end. That's how badly he miscued. Went round the side of it. See Barry Hawkins wincing there, just checking the tip, as you say. But in the end, I mean, he kind of was fortunate where the white finished. As I say, had he clipped the red, he could well have left Robertson bang in. So even though it was horrible, could have been a lot worse for Hawkins. That's a good pot, though.
If Neil can tuck the cube in behind the yellow, it could cause all sorts of problems for Barry Hawkins, but it won't be an easy shot to play.
Neil Robertson 1.
Well, that's a terrible shot. He hasn't even covered the reds by the pink. If he'd have done that, Barry would have had a problem.
Foul. Barry Hawkins 4.
Shake of the head and look of concern. Potential shot to nothing here for Hawkins.
And a rather nice cannon to the brown. Shouldn't be a problem to get down for a choice of reds. So 10 points the lead.
5.
Needs the 3 remaining reds, and that one that's next to the black won't pass it to the right corner. So a little bit of a problem for Barry Hawkins. But has played for the pink in such a way now as to play for that awkward red.
Well, real concern now for Robertson.
12.
Out of his hands as to whether he goes 4-1 down here.
He's on the red okay, not perfectly, because he does need a colour off this red to make the frame safe.
guess he could take the pink on, not play for the yellow to get on it. Yeah, those 6 points put him to the snooker's required stage.
26. Barry Hawkins. 26.
So as it stands, it's 1 4-point snooker to tie the frame. Another frame that's approaching the half-hour mark, 26 minutes so far. Applause, but he can get through here. Well, that doesn't exactly help Neil Robertson's cause. Just kind of not happening for him, is it? He was in first, he made 32, lost position. Missed a difficult red. Time now beginning to run out for Neil Robertson. Trying to relaunch, restart his campaign here at the Masters, but he's going to be 4-1 down in this race to 6.
Hawkins 2.
Coming back, but 33 behind now with 25 on. Taller order, of course. Well, that removes all doubt about who's going to win this frame. So Barry Hawkins pressing on here.
So,
again, not a frame littered with big breaks by any means, but he's here to do a job tonight, which is get to 6.
12. 18. And the front.
So Barry Hawkins increases his lead, and the concern for Neil Robertson also increases. Hawkins 4-1, 2 away from victory.
Well, we're going to have some interesting moments from frame number 5 there. That violent miscue from Barry Hawkins that could have been very costly, and it could have actually damaged his tip. It doesn't appear to have done, though. Wincing there because, well, he's looking at the cue ball there to see if he's going to leave a red on. He didn't. Now, this was a safety shot from Neil Robertson And this cue ball just keeps running and running and running and finds the pocket. Now that was important because that meant that the ball was in hand for Barry Hawkins, and he was able to slot in an excellent shot to nothing. This was the one here, the bottom red of the two. As we look, a nice friendly cannon on the brown, left him in perfect position. And he was able to see out the frame. So Neil Robertson's woes continue. He's just 2 frames away from defeat now, 4-1 behind.
Well, of course, there's still time for Neil Robertson to win this match. There's still time for him to produce the goods. But frankly, there's been little sign of all that this evening. Been a few nice pots going in here and there, but no breaks to speak of. Still his highest 32. That was in the last frame at the start of it. Black was available, red's available, lost his way pretty quickly. So this is turning into, so far anyway, another disappointing evening. He's had a disappointing season. He's only won 4 matches in ranking events in the 7 he's played in. We last saw him at the UK Championship, where Zhou Long played very well against him, but Robertson just couldn't find the response. He's had a long break, been back to Australia to see his family, hoping for a turnaround here in the new year. Hasn't happened yet. It'll have to happen soon, particularly with Hawkins on 4. If he gets to 5, this man a big favourite.
Thank you. The 6th frame. Neil Robertson to break.
So Neil Robertson 4-1 down here this evening. It's been a world away from how well he played against Hawkins in the final here 2 years ago to land his 2nd Masters title a decade after the 1st. Good safety stats for Hawkins, 87%. His pot success at 91, so it's, there you see it. 2 impressive tallies for him. Robertson still down at 80% for pot success, trailing on the safety, high break, just 32. All of those have got to change, you feel. That one as well, 32 seconds a shot. You know, he would prefer to be much closer to 22 seconds around that area, which he would be, of course, if he was making breaks, but it's not been how it's gone so far.
Yes, Neil Robertson's just made 9 centuries this season. When you consider that he's one of the greatest break builders in the game, it's a very poor return for him, and that's why on the 1-year points he's down at 88 in the world, just on the points from the play that we've witnessed so far this season. It's just another one of those safeties that Neil plays. Yes, it's safe, but it just doesn't put somebody like Barry Hawkins in trouble at all, really. That's another great long red from Neil Robertson. It's 9 from 17, but I have to say some of the long pots have been exceptional, and this was another one of those. It's just that when he has had opportunities, his positional players let him down and he has missed pots. Some of the areas of his game that he probably thought he wouldn't struggle with, he has tonight.
There's one thing that stirs a great player, and that's the prospect of going out of a big tournament. So maybe this is the time that he starts to produce the goods. Now that threat is very real.
6.
I know one thing, if he does have to qualify for the Crucible and gets through, if you're in the top 16, you'll be watching the draw through your fingers, won't you? You will not want to play him, no matter how much he struggled. You do not want to play him at any stage of a tournament. Those qualifiers, though, traditionally are dangerous. Remember, Ding had to go through that, didn't he? He got to the final that year, 2016, having dropped out the 16.
Yes, he lost very few frames in the qualifiers. It would be the same with Neil if he did have to qualify for the Worlds. He'd have some momentum going into the venue stages. That's a poor positional shot from Neil. He wanted to cannon those reds more fully to be on a red to the right corner. And he's faced with a tricky red with the rest.
Yeah, at a time when you just want to keep things simple. If this game ever is simple. Nicely done.
22.
Well, ordinarily, you'd be lucky to get a second chance against Neil Robertson with the balls in these sorts of positions. Pink spot's occupied, so that will go on the green spot.
Rob Spencer did give that fly a good chance to get out of the way, in fairness.
Another one on the right-hand side cushion by the ball line, look. It's an entomologist's dream, Dave.
Ooh. Well, that's more of a nightmare for that one. Didn't seem to put Robertson off. He's obviously just trying to focus here. Again, that's had an increased good chance to do it here in the side break.
Oh, you see again, tried to cannon the red to the right of the cue ball and didn't cannon it.
36.
He's left-handed. This red to the left corner, this cutback, shouldn't pose too much of a difficulty, but the positional aspect of the shot may. We're into frame 6 and this 37 break from Neil Robertson. How surprising it is to tell you it's his highest break of the evening.
45.
His rate of scoring in this tournament has been very impressive. This is his 38th match
52.
in the Masters, all told. He's made 39 centuries, so he's averaging just over 1 a match. And of course, quite a few matches he would have lost.
50.
So traditionally, he seems to bring his best to the Masters.
$60. $61.
A real battling effort this. He's had to dig himself out of a little bit of trouble a couple of times. He needs another red after the black to not only win the frame, but most importantly to win it in one visit. Just to send the message to Hawkins
68.
that there could be a late rally in this match.
69. $76. $77. $82. $83. $88. $89.
Well, he's going to need more of the same, but this is more like it.
95.
His highest break before this frame was just 32. But this blue for the 8th century of this year's Masters, and a really important one for Neil Robertson. It's his 40th in this great tournament.
101. $103. $105. $108. $112. 117.
Everyone knew it was in there. It was about trying to bring it out in this match. 4-1 down under pressure. That's exactly what he's done. $117. A very valuable break that for Neil Robertson. It could be the start of the comeback. He certainly hopes so. Barry Hawkins, though, still with a good lead here at 4-2.
Well, we're going to have a look at some of the key moments from frame 6. This was an excellent cut-back red from Neil Robertson. Some of his long potting has been excellent in this match. It's the rest of his game that's been failing at times. Managed to just about get the cue ball away to safety, but he did lose position and had to pull out this excellent pot and position for the black. Another on that recovery shot that he had to play there, it was pretty much plain sailing as Neil Robertson was able to pot that blue for his century break. Career number 908. So he's reduced the deficit, but does still trail by 4 frames to 2.
Well, his pot success has climbed closer to 90% than 80, so the stats going up. So Neil Robertson has made the first century of this match, 117, only his 10th of the season. But I bet that felt good after the rather difficult start to proceedings. He's still in trouble here, 4-2 down, but of course if he can produce more of the same, every chance of turning this around and putting himself into a quarter-final meeting with a record-holding 7-times champion, Ronnie O'Sullivan, who he did beat here a couple of years ago on the way to title number 2.
Thank you. The 7th frame. Barry Hawkins to break.
Barry Hawkins getting frame number 7 underway, but that's not the best break-off shot. This red will cut in. Wouldn't have expected to have missed that one. At least 2, maybe 3 possible reds available here for Barry. He'll take one of them on, I'm certain. Just tried to cannon that red to hold himself on the pink to left centre. Missed the cannon by a fraction.
Yellow ball. Barry Hawkins.
Sure where Barry intended that cue ball to be, probably in the drawers of the yellow pocket. But Neil can certainly attempt this straightish long red. No. Oh, but he's had a stroke of good fortune there. Or has he? This red needs to slow down. It's probably covered by the blue. Audience can see that too, but there may be a chance of a plant here for Barry. There's a gap between green and blue, but I don't think Neil can see enough of the red nearest the corner pockets anyway. Barry wants to be sure, though. He's having a look as well. Now, in a position like this, it's a rather tricky one for Neil. He could play safety off the pack of reds and hope or expect something to cover these two reds. But does he think he can see enough of this? No. It never looked on to me, but Neil would have known best. Oh, how lucky's he been there if he's covered the red? It's incredible.
Now they're both having a look again to see if he can get through. Robertson's not sure. Just see it.
He's shaping up to play a slight swerve. It shouldn't be difficult, but where does the cue ball finish if he does pot the red?
Hawkins won.
That's another very good pot from Neil Robertson. Didn't try to do too much with the cue ball, just played it at a comfortable pace. That's a great effort from Neil from underneath that bolt cushion. It's hard work out there, isn't it? Just a couple of inches away there from being perfect.
Neil Robertson 5.
Really fascinating point, I think, in this match. Obviously, Hawkins still with a useful lead, but he's just lost the last frame to a century. So he's trying to stop Neil Robertson getting in again and getting his confidence up. Robertson, meanwhile, has got to try and keep Hawkins on 4 frames. Ooh. A mistake.
If Neil can score heavily here and maybe win the frame even from this visit, no reason why he can't. And I do think Barry Hawkins will be under increasing pressure.
Seven. Eight.
Funny enough, the one tournament he actually did well in this season was the Shanghai Masters, which was very much like this event for just the top players. Of course, big event in China.
Ben.
Another.
I'm going to get with Neil. Neil, I'll do it.
Well, this is a wasp.
I'll do it, it's all right. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's no water bin in this, is there? Right.
Wow. Of all the things that you see on the snooker table, we've now got a trapped wasp. Neil Robertson's getting involved here because of vegan, animal lover.
I know, but let me do it.
He says, I'm an Australian, I'm used to spiders and all that. But Rob Spencer, it's his job, he's decided. He's going to be very humane here. Look at that. Where it goes now, I can't tell you, but it's not on the table.
Stick it outside for us. Cheers, Neil.
Well, often in these matches, there is a sting in the tail, but thankfully there wasn't one there.
That's a good point that Neil made, though. Being Australian, 10 deadliest snakes and spiders, all from Australia. Funnel webs, red backs, the lot. Neil wasps, probably nothing to Neil.
Of course, one year at the Crucible we had a pigeon, didn't we? All sorts of things happen in these arenas. Anyway, back to business. This is serious business.
23.
Yeah, just saying before all of that, the one event he did well in was the Shanghai Masters, which of course is all top players. He got to the semis. Other than that, he's not been playing top 16 players this season. He's actually been losing to players much further down the ranking list.
32.
Of course, the Shanghai Masters these days, similarly to the Masters, is an invitation event, so maybe that will relieve some of the pressure that Neil's obviously under in terms of his ranking position, because there are no points on offer here. He's looking far more positive now, Neil Robertson. That red to the left centre he potted a few moments ago, he just more or less got down and played the shot as though it was no difficulty at all, but it was tricky. Barry Hawkins will be well aware that Neil Robertson all of a sudden is beginning to look very dangerous.
47.
I'm sure he's increasing in confidence with every shot he plays here.
Yeah, I think that's the thing with Robertson. You know when he is confident, you can see it in him. He's got that sort of swagger, like he owns the place. Sort of slowly returning, isn't it? Certainly wasn't there earlier tonight.
56.
Well, the blue put him to the snooker's required stage. It's not just winning these frames, it's how he's doing them. Now making the breaks. Could be back-to-back centuries potentially. As you can see, he's speeded up as well. That was always going to happen if he was going to start making breaks.
69.
Well, he dealt with the wasp. Now Robertson now trying to deal not only with his opponent, but also with his own game, which is getting better and better with every frame now.
77. 78.
Yeah, he's determined to make another century.
Nice. 92.
Hawkins must have feared that at some point tonight this would happen.
95.
Credit to Robertson, he was in big trouble, 4-1 down, not playing particularly
99.
well. He's managed to summon up two great breaks here. 117 in the last, and this for back-to-back centuries.
104. 110.
This is more like it from the Aussie. He's on the charge now. Deep in trouble, 4-1 down. He's hit back with back-to-back tons to trail 4-3. Game on.
Barry Hawkins has re-entered the auditorium. I'm sure Neil will be back as well in a moment or two. But this match now is warming up very nicely. Could we witness another 6-5? The first one, of course, today. What a match that was.
Yeah,
could we see another here, Dave?
Sorry, Dom. Yeah, if you've had an all-day ticket, my word, you've had your money's worth, haven't you? Yeah, the Trump-Wilson. I mean, the last two frames of that was so exciting. Trump eventually cleared up to win on the black. Yeah, the whole dynamic's changed. It's not just winning the frames, as I say, it's how he's done it. Just needing one chance. And Hawkins a little wary now as Robertson kind of strides back in, looking like he's sort of walking taller almost.
Thank you, the 8th frame. Neil Robertson to break.
So 4-3 to Hawkins. It was 4-1. Robertson 117, 110 to hit back in style.
Yes, pressure on both of these players now. quarter-final berth with the game's greatest ever player, Ronnie O'Sullivan. There's the tail of the tape. Back-to-back centuries there in frames 6 and 7 from Neil Robertson. Barry Hawkins, as you can see, just scored the 2 points in those last 2 frames in total. So there's more pressure on him, you feel, to try and re-establish that lost momentum.
That's the thing, you're never really safe in any match, are you? These players, obviously it's the best of the best here. They're all so good. They can all turn it round at any stage. Neil Robertson once lost a match here to Steve Maguire from 5-1 up. Just thinking about that wasp in the last frame. Stephen Hendry, the great Stephen Hendry, of course he had a phobia about wasps. He would not have been getting involved with that, would he? Putting the glass on it or going anywhere near it. One of the few things that could get close to Hendry at the Masters in the old days.
Foul. Miss. Neil Robertson 4. Yeah. Ben, can you bring it up for me, please?
Right, up we go. With the cue ball.
No, just hang us.
Williams helping out.
Slightly. That fractionally that way. Maybe back slightly. Is that close? Yeah, bang on.
There's an element so you think it's a bit more than a line. Right, okay. So touch more. Touch more. That's what I mean. There's a slight tolerance. Yeah. Have a look at that one. Yeah. Neil? Okay.
Sounds about right.
Thanks.
Barry was up straight away. He knew he'd caught that all wrong. And the Reds finished near the corner pocket. Things are changing here. Robson's pot success climbing ever closer towards that 90% mark, which even for him that would be low.
Yeah, Robertson ahead on the aggregate after the big breaks, of course, probably more balls. That's just because of the size of the breaks.
One.
Certainly on the black, but he just needs one good positional shot here. He just needs to hold the cue ball above the black spot. But he has a little more angle on the black than is ideal.
Eight.
I think if it were me, I'd be playing the red to the right corner here and just finding as much of that gap between the reds as I could. He'll probably cannon into a few of them, but he should still be on the blue or bolt colour. That'll do very nicely.
sure he would have been on a colour anyway, but it was noticeable early on in the match. Just a little bit of running went against him. And now suddenly he's playing well and just the odd things going for him. So much of this sport is about self-belief. Believing in yourself, not giving up, not getting disheartened. And he is a very positive character, Robertson, a very optimistic character. You speak to him, he's usually trying to look for positives. Of course, that's so important when you're struggling. I'm sure Joe Perry had a few things to say as well, which would have helped in the interval. And that's about bringing all that to the fore. He's done it in the last 2 frames.
Forcing. $15.
Bludgeoned that red in, but still didn't get the cue ball far enough up the table for the blue, which is still cuttable. Can he get that cue ball in and out of bolt without cannoning yellow or brown? And play for the red to the left of the black, perhaps, into the right corner. There's a lot of side spin on the cue ball here. Needs a bit of luck. I don't think that red will pot to the corner pocket, no. The cue ball really just seemed to bite off the bolt cushion. Let's have a look at this. It goes backwards almost. Look at that.
Neil Robertson 20.
You see the rather agonised look on his face as the break ends, but in general, he's clearly feeling better in this match right now. And the control that Hawkins was exerting over him for now is gone. It's Robertson looking the stronger. Disappointed cannon in the brown there. Definite chance now for Barry Hawkins, but he's under pressure. This pot will look a lot more difficult than it may have done half an hour or so ago. I say it's 21 minutes and counting since his last pot. Made a great sound, that, didn't it? Certainly to Barry Hawkins' ears.
Yes, this was excellent from a player that's under increasing pressure. He's played the positional aspects of the shot really well. What would he give for a frame-winning break here to go within a frame of victory?
What's changed though, isn't it, the dynamic? Whereas earlier it didn't feel like he was being put under that much pressure. He has been now, so it's a challenge for him to handle that.
8.
Available. It would be a risk to try and bring it into play, really, so I think Barry for now will focus on blue and pink.
15. 21. Twenty-two. 28. 29.
'Cause he played that shot, but okay.
35. 36.
Neil looking a little concerned, quite naturally. He's still in good position, but a couple of these reds may be just a little trickier to get onto. To run through just a few more inches there.
42.
May be able to hold for the blue, but he can certainly go up for the green. The problem is then he's got a lot of work to do with the cue ball to get good position on his next red.
$43.
This is a key shot coming up positionally. I don't think the reds just below the pink are available anywhere. I think they're blocking one another.
$48. 49.
From that camera shot, maybe those reds below the pink are available. They're very tight. What sort of an angle does Barry have on the pink? Maybe none.
$55. 56.
'Well, it's been a terrific break, bearing in mind the fact he sat out 2 frames. Just checking the scores. There's a couple of balls away here from gaining a 2-frame advantage.
62.
In a way, it's been typical Hawkins, very assured. He's kept things as simple as possible, giving himself the best chance to get to within a frame of the quarterfinals. Checking the scores again, the pink will put him 44 in front, 43 on. Obviously wants another red as well, but this is to leave Robertson needing a snooker.
Well, it's been a workmanlike break.
68.
Break of 68 has been in progress almost 8 minutes. It's been an excellent response, this, from Barry Hawkins to the 2 century breaks from Neil Robertson.
Barry Hawkins.
Front
69.
push the ground safe and get the snooker. So we've got the latter, so Robertson needs 3, but he's in 1. Oh, he's hit the black, so that's that.
Barry Hawkins 7.
69 the break from Barry Hawkins, who now needs 1 more frame to advance to a meeting with Ronnie O'Sullivan in the quarterfinals of the Masters. 5-3.
At some key moments here in frame 8. Neil Robertson's safety prior to this excellent red going in was a poor one, cannoning the ground with the cue ball. Barry making no mistake with that excellent long red. Found the gap between the black and the red for position on the pink. Beautifully executed. With it, that excellent break. It's given him a chance to go on and win this match now. He's just 1 frame away. He's re-established a 2-frame advantage. This was the cutting thrust. That red going in extinguished any hope that Neil Robertson felt he may have had. And so that man in picture there, Barry Hawkins, now breathe a little bit of a sigh of relief. Come back from Neil Robertson has been extinguished to a degree, and Barry Hawkins just 1 frame away from the quarter-final.
Well, Neil Robertson has left the arena. He's no doubt trying to summon up what would have to be a 3-frame run now to stay in the tournament. Just as he was playing his best snooker, Barry Hawkins, very coolly, very calmly, he worked hard for it. He put together that 69, a frame-winning break. And he's now 1 from victory.
Please. Thank you, the 9th frame. Barry Hawkins to break.
5-3 it is to Barry Hawkins. He needs 1, Robertson needs all 3. May yet to get a second decider of the day.
That's not the best break-off shot. Neil Robertson will certainly be taking this red on. Now, he could hold for the black into the same pocket if he wished. He could take the cue ball around the angles of blue or bolt colour, but he'll still have to be careful of that red near the blue. Could easily leave it on. That's the pressure that Neil Robertson's under now. He knows that 1 mistake could easily be his last, and is that it? Goodness me, did not envisage Barry Hawkins making contact with the yellow.
Hawkins 1.
That's a big shot. Far tougher colour than he should have had. Yeah, a bit bemused how that all went wrong. I'll hold him back there.
One.
I suppose the easiest red that Neil could play for here is the red to the right of the brown. But he could do with getting that red away from next to the black there, which would bring the black into play for both corners. What's he played for there?
Neil Robertson 3.
Oh, that's a great plant from Barry Hawkins. I did have a look at those two reds. A foot of distance between them.
Barry Hawkins 1.
Exhibiting a fine touch there. He'll need to be careful. He'd like to land that cue ball to the right-hand side of that little group of 5, but that cue ball's very tight to the yellow.
Yeah, Robertson, he didn't leave it touching ball.
It's one of the better safety shots that Barry's played of late. Neil's just having a look at those two reds to see if they could be made into a plant. That could be handy. Is the brown covering the left-hand side of the table? If it is, Barry has a bit of a problem here, because the blue is covering the right-hand side, as you can see. Barry may only be able to just roll up to the top of the main bunch here. He didn't need to play that, Barry, but nothing from the kiss on the blue. He played it well. Two reds, as though they may have formed a plant for the left corner, but far too risky to consider that. Q will be going into many of the reds. This looks good.
That's the thing, he started to play really well, hasn't he, in all departments. Robertson, the scoring we saw in those two frames, his safety, I think, has got better. He's still in trouble, obviously, 5-3 down. Remember, if he loses tonight, then his next engagement might be till the German Masters at the end of the month. He's not in the World Grand Prix, which starts next week. Like so many of his rivals, including Hawkins. And indeed, Dominic Dale. Shangander for you, Dom, I believe?
Yes, that's right. Had Gary Wilson gone on to win the recent Scottish Open, defended the title incredibly, has to be said. I would have been playing my Welsh compatriot Mark Williams. Shangander's a player I've played quite a few times over the years, but not recently.
So Robertson's good safety has yielded some sort of chance here.
Needs a bit of help with the yellow. That cue ball needs to keep running. And I think it has. Nice. Certainly is a snooker. Full ball. Oh, Barry has a problem now. What's he going to do with this? He could play a safety off the reds around the black spot and hope that something comes across to cover this red. It's certainly not a guarantee. Clever shot in the end, using the main body of reds to block that red, but the key part of that was getting the cue ball near the side cushion.
Yeah, well, obviously the red near the pocket, a little bit of stalemate here.
Well, that red that's just below the black, if Neil could see it full ball, well, he nearly could. Could have planted that red onto the one over the pocket, wouldn't have been too difficult. But Neil could play a safety here, get the cue ball back behind the yellow. And he thinks he can see enough of this red, can he? If he can, he could easily make the plant.
Hawkins 4.
Weird old result, but the worst thing, of course, is he's now left this red on. Funny old shot this, but the concern clearly is the red's potable now.
One.
It did look to me as though Neil couldn't quite see enough of that red. He wasn't sure. He certainly is now. Barry would love to equal his efforts of the previous frame with that excellent 69 break that he made. Came to the table with a narrow lead.
7.
Black out of commission, but the pinks certainly okay for at least 2 or 3 pockets. Still a good chance, this.
8. $12. 13. 19. 20.
The key differences between the two players, hasn't it, all evening? Barry Hawkins' positional play has just been much better than that of Neil Robertson's.
27. 34.
Well, this is the worst thing about snooker from Robertson's perspective. He's out of his hands. He can't affect things from where he is. It's up to this man to try and get this one. I know Robertson started to play really well tonight. Is it too late?
$35.
Barry had a look at the two reds just above the black to see if the bottom one would pass to this right corner, and I'm not sure it does.
$42.
Well, if Barry plays for the black here and then the red along the top cushion, he won't need to worry about those two groups of two reds that are all blocked. He'll be over the winning line, barring snookers by then.
$43.
Barry's been considering playing one of the two reds above the black into the left centre, but surely that'll be a harder pot than the red along the top cushion. But he couldn't hold for that red, so had no choice.
50.
Huge shot coming up for Barry Hawkins.
And there it is. Feels almost like a match winner. He'll still need this pink in to lead by 60 with 59 on. So not quite there, but Robertson needs a snooker. And once again, Barry Hawkins just managed to stay
57.
calm in the eye of a storm. I mean, Robertson came back so impressively from 4-1 to 4-3, back-to-back centuries. He'd love this in. Not there, so not quite done, as I say, but a snooker needed.
57.
Dearly like to create an opportunity to pot these reds with high value colours. Very difficult to get a snooker when there are four reds left on the table. Unless we're all grouped together. Certainly not.
Hawkins does win. It'd be interesting what Robertson sort of takes from the evening. Obviously, not the result he wanted. There were good signs sort of in the middle of the match. As Hawkins fails to nail him in behind the blue. Well, we'll see what difference that makes. Could have been it there. But yeah, Robertson obviously trying to turn things around. And even though he has played well in spells, it still would be another disappointing exit early in the tournament. And he's sort of running out of tournaments, isn't he, this season?
good red, but he really wanted to hold for the blue. Just doing some sums. 59 behind, be 56 behind if he potted the green. Oh, he's looking at the pink. Well, if it doesn't go in, I'm sure the handshake will arrive.
Pink ball.
Here we go then. This could be, as Dominic says, the end of the road for the Aussie. Oh, nicely done. Nicely done. Keeps him in with a chance here. One snooker still.
7. Neil Robertson 7.
Well, given the circumstances, I wouldn't be at all surprised to see Neil Robertson attempt this red into the green pocket. No, no thought of it. Can't see enough of the red to attempt the pot. Well, he's partially snookered on the red over the pocket. It's actually easy to pot with a gentle swerve around the pink. But can he control the cue ball for position on pink or black? He's going to try and pot the other one off it.
Well, has Barry Hawkins got one good last pot in him here to kill this off?
Well, Barry recognising that red just behind the black is in a very dangerous position if Neil Robertson were to pot the other two reds with high value colours. So he's moving it.
Interesting. Did have the chance to pot the other one. Potentially. It wasn't easy, obviously. Still one snooker. Looks like a good decision now. Come on, Barry, they say. Had a good campaign, isn't he? Could be about to get better here. But that was match over, guaranteed. Now, you never know. What he didn't want was for Robertson to start getting rid of the reds. Obviously, fewer reds on the table. More likely to get a good snooker.
I'm sure Barry's thinking, why did I play it with so much pace?
One.
So with the blue, it'd be 47 in it, and that would mean it's effectively to tie 1 4-point snooker. He's actually taking the brown, so it's now 2 to win, 48 in it.
Five. Neil Robertson, 5.
This is the 5th frame of the night. That's around the half-hour mark. He's just gone over it, actually, just under 32 minutes. So there's the position. Robertson elected, rather than sort of take the blue, play on a red, try and get back down for the black. Took the brown, laid the snooker, but it's not got the penalty point, so he needs 2 successfully laid snookers.
That's a great shot he's played there. Red Barry like to shift is the one closest to the black, because if you were to leave the other one as a pot, getting the snooker in behind the black wouldn't be difficult.
Obviously, though, cannot afford to hit the black. That's the problem. Maybe then be 41 in it with 43 on.
Barry Hawkins does seem strangely anxious, though, doesn't he?
Robertson won against Mike Williams, the decider, in that semi-final a couple of years ago. He needed a couple of snookers, didn't he? And got them.
What?
Amazing frame of snooker that was.
Eights.
Well, that cue ball's just come off the top cushion enough, maybe, for Neil Robertson to manoeuvre this cue ball where he wants to. Had the cue ball just been another 6 or 8 inches to the left as we look, could have stung the cue ball in behind the black. Do with this being a snooker because this red's going towards the corner pocket and he hasn't got the cover.
He can cut it in, surely over. Overcut it. Now, where's the white? Moment. I thought it might run in behind the brown, but no. Yeah, he's just trying to kill this off, isn't he?
Oh, he's left the gap again. It's a little unfortunate. Can't see much of it, Barry, but what he can see could be a guide to potting it. Problem is the cue ball could go close to this left corner. And he'll be delighted to see that pink in play again. If he can just find a way to get a good snooker, this frame may still have legs in it.
Longest frame of the night here, 36 minutes and counting, as you can see. Another chance to wrap up frame and match. Yes, and the danger is the longer this goes on, Robertson gets a good snooker, and who knows after that. Of course, at the moment he needs 2. Well, that's full ball.
Yes, it is. And if I were Barry, I'd just play into this with enough pace to not allow the cue ball just to skim off the red towards a corner pocket somewhere. I think this red will pot again for Barry. In the process, he'll be cannoning the black into a better position from his perspective.
He'll be relieved. He's played, as ever, very solidly tonight, Barry Hawkins. Good safety. His highest break, 96 in the third frame. He led 4-1. Neil Robertson hit back very strong. Breaks of 117, 110. Hawkins did not panic.
7,
He made that 69 in the 8th frame. There's already people leaving
9,
to get the last bus home. And I'm afraid for Neil Robertson, it's also an exit. He came here to the Masters hoping to turn a very disappointing season around, but he ran into Barry Hawkins, twice runner-up.